All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Modernize Your Communications with Microsoft Teams. My name is Emily Venable, and I'm the Solutions Manager here at OnPar Technologies, and I will be hosting today's event. So before we start, let me just go over a few housekeeping items. Today's webinar is being recorded for quality and reproduction purposes, so all attendees will be on mute throughout the webinar. You can also ask any questions you have throughout the webinar by using the chat feature on this meeting, and you do that by clicking the comments icon on the bottom left of your screen, and my colleagues will be here to answer any questions that you might have. That includes Donna Hall, our Director of Business Development, and Carrie Peters, our Marketing Manager. And there will be a larger question and answer session at the end of the webinar after the recording has concluded. And just to give you a little idea of the setup, we're going to do about 10-15 minutes of PowerPoint presentation, and then we're going to move on to a live demo. So thank you so much for attending, and let's move on to today's topic, Microsoft Teams. So first, let's look at what drove Microsoft to create the Teams application. As many of you have probably noticed, the way in which organizations work has evolved over time. Both work styles and the workforce are becoming way more diverse. There are several trends that Microsoft started to notice that led them to create this new solution. The first trend they were seeing is that end users are more mobile and social. When people collaborate today, they're leveraging social tools. In fact, according to Microsoft's research, 45% of workers are using social technologies in their day-to-day work. Users are also working across more devices. In the past 5 years, the number of devices per user has increased by 400%. So the mobile phone and tablets have completely changed how we communicate and work. Like many users, I live on my phone, and I assume many of you do as well. And I actually feel a little strange when I accidentally leave my phone at home. So in addition to that increase in mobility, people are using different apps and services to get their jobs done. And that results in them having to jump between different experiences throughout the day. Now, the second trend that Microsoft noticed was the growing diversity and global distribution of workers in today's workforce. So for the first time, there's actually 5 generations working together in the workplace. And all of these people have different backgrounds in technology and different expectations on how to communicate and collaborate with their peers. For example, some people still like chatting on the phone. Other people prefer email conversations, and some still prefer face-to-face interactions. And teams today don't only differ in style, but they're increasingly in many different locations. Employees are no longer necessarily in the same office or even in the same time zone. And estimates actually show that 72% of employees are going to be working remotely at least part of the time by 2020. And this makes it even more challenging to have those face-to-face conversations. So there's an immediate need to enable communications and collaboration regardless of workers' geography. And the last trend Microsoft was noticing is that the workers are now more team-based, and they are increasingly collaborative within their organizations. There seems to be a movement towards transparency and inclusivity in how decisions are made in the workplace. Organization structures are actually becoming more flat, and people are on twice as many teams as they were 5 years ago. And those teams are dynamic. It's really rare that people don't change on a month-to-month project. And when someone leaves, the first step is that team needs to go through their email and find all the information they need to get a new person up to speed. Now, being on teams has also led to a dramatic increase in the amount of collaboration in the workplace. Workers report that they spend 80% of their time collaborating, whether that's in meetings or calls or co-owning and co-editing documents. Now, to solve that challenge, Microsoft developed Microsoft Teams. This was released in March of 2017, And we've seen the end users who work within a team or a group really thrive as information is easily shared in an open and transparent way, and when people that have diverse work styles can access their information from one easy location. And we know that groups and teams, not one size doesn't fit all with these people. So Teams, Microsoft Teams was made to be a flexible application. You can customize and personalize it based on the needs of your team. And it has been shown that when companies don't provide tools like this to support these new trends, that end users actually go out and download the consumer-grade tools they need to complete their work. And this creates added stress for the end users as they have to manage multiple logins and move between different experiences to get their work done. And it also creates risks for the organization or company because they no longer have control over where that corporate data lives. So now that you know why Teams was created, let's look at how it works. So Microsoft describes Teams as their hub for teamwork. If you're familiar with an application called Slack, Teams is the Slack of Microsoft. It is a chat-based workspace, and it enables teams to be more productive by giving them a single, secure location to meet all of their needs, from chats and meetings to calls and file sharing, even third-party application integration. Teams gives you one place for all of your employees' needs. Now, Teams is available in 3 formats. It can be accessed via your internet browser, it can be a downloadable desktop application, or it can be a mobile app on your phone or tablet. And Teams is really based on 4 core solutions for work. That first core is communication. And so you can use Teams now for informal one-on-one chats or group chats. But you can also have open conversations in a channel within a team. This enables people to share information in a transparent way, and it accelerates decision making. So it's super easy to move from a chat into a face-to-face meeting and helps you bridge geographical barriers. Now, the next core solution that is delivered upon is collaboration. Teams is fully integrated with Office applications like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, which enables the diverse workforce to use programs they're already familiar with within the context of Teams. Teams also integrates with email pretty seamlessly. Currently, probably the way most of you are working is if you want someone's feedback, you send them an email with a file attached. They then store it and make some comments, and then they email it back to you and you store it again. And this just becomes a vicious cycle that results in duplicate versions of the same document and causes you to have to jump from email into other applications to get your work done. With Teams, it makes it so that you can easily share and co-author your files without the need for email attachments. And you can also forward important emails from your Outlook directly into Teams conversations. Now, the third core solution is actually customization. Like I said, Teams are dynamic and they're different. So Office 365 may just be one of the services that you use throughout your workday. But we know you also use many other tools and services on a day-to-day basis. So with Teams, you can customize tabs, connectors, and bots to include services that you also use, like GitHub, Constant Contact, Salesforce, and Trello, just to name a few. There are actually currently over 300 third-party software platforms with integrations into Teams, and this is growing every day. And the last core solution of Teams is to work with confidence. So just like the Office 365 platform, Teams comes with built-in enterprise-grade security, compliance, and manageability. So that should dissuade any fears or concerns that you have about the security of the communications and content within Teams. Now, Teams is a global application. It is currently being used by 125,000 businesses. It is supported in 29 languages across 181 countries, and it stores data in 6 data centers worldwide. But keep in mind that per Microsoft Security and Compliance, your data will always be stored within the borders of the country in which your business resides. And with 120 million Office 365 users, Teams is growing at a rapid pace. So let's go back and look at the solutions I just talked about, but let's look at each one of them separately. So let's start off with looking deeper into the chat portion of Teams. So within Teams, chats are threaded, persistent, and contextual. So that allows everyone to stay in the know and understand the context of the conversation. In Teams, you can choose how you want to communicate, whether you want to do a one-on-one chat with someone, a group chat with up to 25 people, or a team conversation in a channel that is visible to your entire team. Teams also just recently added guest access, so now not only can you chat with members of your team that are part of your organization, but you can also invite those from outside of your organization to participate in your teams and channels as well. Teams also allows you to have fun within your group. Successful collaboration is based on solid relationships. So people in Teams can use emojis and memes and graphics to show their personality and humanize their messages. They can use GIFs and stickers to bring humor into the conversation, and it kind of softens the message. It also increases employee morale and productivity. Changing the communication style of your team can change the way they work, so people can worry less about formalities and more about the substance of the team. Now let's look a little bit deeper into the collaboration portion. So today, information is often siloed into different services. Mail, files, meetings, and other services are all in different applications. Teams brings all of that together in one workspace, resulting in more time for productivity because you don't have to toggle in between apps. And all of your common tools are in here. So all of the Office apps that you use every day are in here. Users can share, co-author, and edit Office and other file types right within the app. And all of the files are stored on a SharePoint backend, so the latest version of the file is always accessible to any member of the team. Now, to further collaboration, you can take notes in Teams with OneNote, and you can access your Outlook calendar directly from Teams. Teams also integrates with things like Power BI and Microsoft Planner, so teams have a central place with all the necessary tools they need to pursue their objectives. And lastly, there is built-in integration with email, so users can forward an email from their Outlook into the Teams channel and have further discussion. Now let's look at customizations. Now, like I said, every group's unique, whether it's a team based on a department, a project, or an interest group. So Teams makes it easy to tailor your workspace to be what that team needs for their specific tasks. So you can set up channels so that conversations on certain topics happen in designated spaces. You can actually pin important files for quick reference for the whole team to access as a tab with just one click. You can add third-party software integrations and bots into Teams, and bots can answer natural language questions and perform lightweight tasks for a group. And lastly, you can bring in cloud services to explore data from other cloud storage services, such as Google Drive and Dropbox. So all of these customizations make each group unique and allows them to get their work done faster. Now let's talk about everybody's favorite subject. Let's talk about security. So like I said, Teams is built on an enterprise-grade cloud and has industry-leading security and compliance capabilities. So with Teams, you can manage and monitor all of the features in one centralized place. So lately, the big topic has been GDPR, or the Global Data Protection Regulation, which was put in place by the European Union. And Microsoft put out a press release and just wanted everyone to know that Teams meets the compliance for GDPR. It also meets compliance for HIPAA, SEC, and FINRA, and it also meets many other compliance regulations as well. Now, in the Teams Admin Center, you get a coherent experience for administrators, and you can manage all of the aspects of Teams, including users, settings, and analytics. And with this enterprise manageability, you're able to configure and set policies at a per-user level and manage all the apps for the employees and the organization. So let's move on and talk about bringing all of your communications to life. So Microsoft made a recent announcement that Teams is becoming their core communications client for Office 365. And we've started to see that all of the capabilities built into Skype for Business are now coming into Teams to make collaboration even richer and more dynamic. And Teams is actually supported by a back-end infrastructure built on Skype. Microsoft has actually stated that Teams is going to replace Skype completely within the next few years. So Microsoft is trying to use the power of artificial intelligence and cognitive services to transform the things that Skype did, like calls and meetings. So let's look a little deeper into those. So we've already discussed that Teams offers a reliable cloud-based telephony solution. And this enables you to save cost and reduce hardware and leverage the power of the cloud with Microsoft. Now, the base for calling is the Microsoft phone system, which is a fully integrated software-based PBX inside of Teams. This was first released with Skype for Business. As a matter of fact, some of you on this call might already have the Microsoft phone system running through Skype for Business. And this allows you to have an enterprise phone system and manage your telephony through cloud management. You get a dedicated phone number for placing and receiving calls. You get voicemail, auto attendance, call routing, emergency calling, and detailed reporting. This means that Microsoft becomes your dial plan provider. The value to you is that you have one provider for calling, meaning less points of failure since there's less vendors involved, and then only one vendor to resolve your issues. Now keep in mind that all of this I just discussed, the calling plan, is an add-on feature to Teams. It does not come natively with Teams, so that is something you would have to think about adding on separately. Now that we've talked about all of the different features, let's talk about what Microsoft's going to be doing with Teams in the future. So sometime in the next year, Microsoft is going to start implementing these intelligent communications tools. So let's start looking at what intelligent communications can do, starting with a simple phone call. So what if before a phone call, technology could prepare you by telling you and giving you insight about the people you're about to talk to and the projects you're going to be talking about? And then what if during a call, technology could connect you to everyone, and it could account for diverse languages, visual and hearing impairments, or even alleviate a noisy environment? And then what if after a call, technology could do the heavy lifting and send out notes and action items? That is the future of calling inside of Microsoft Teams. Like I said, they're hoping to have all of that done within the next year. Now let's look at meetings. So already today, Teams offers a complete meeting solution. It supports sharing, video, and audio conferencing. But using those cognitive services and Microsoft Graph backend, they want to change ordinary meetings into modern meetings. So right now, right now Teams is able to provide meeting recommendations that are based on attendee availability. So that's awesome. So it already tells you whether or not people are available for meetings. But soon, after a meeting, team members will be able to access recordings that have transcribed and translated texts that are indexed, and people will be able to search for content that's relevant to them without having to listen to the entire meeting. So that's the future of Teams. Now let's get into what most of you probably came here today to see, which is our demo. So let me switch my screen over to my demo page. All right, so for today's demo, we are going to follow a marketing manager named Megan who worked for a company called Contoso. And yes, for those of you who's ever seen a Microsoft demo before, this is their favorite demo company, so you're probably pretty familiar with Contoso. Now, Megan recently launched a product for X1050 drones. So to organize everybody for the launch of the product, she and her colleagues are using Teams. And this gives them that single secure location to bring everybody in their team together. Now, Megan is accessing Teams using the downloadable desktop app. But keep in mind, she could also go to teams.microsoft.com, or she could use the mobile app on her phone or tablet. Now, when she comes in the morning, she starts her day in the Teams section of Microsoft. So right here is Teams, and you can see she's a part of 3 teams right now. She's a part of Mark 8 project teams, business development team, and the X1050 launch team. Now, she also has created several channels within her launch team. These underneath here are channels. So the general, design, digital assets, go-to-market, legal and compliance, and web and social trends are channels. She can easily see channels that have had new information added because they are in bold. Now, over on the left, the app bar gives her access to all the fundamental areas of Teams. So from here, she can access her activity feed, her chat, her Outlook calendar and meetings, as well as her individual files. Now, at the top up here, this is the command bar, and this is where Megan can use the top to query for terms. So this is a really valuable tool. So for example, we're going to type in the word launch and search for that, and over here I get every message where the word launch is used. If there were any people named launch, I would be able to see them as well. And then every file that has the word launch in it. So like I said, this is a very intuitive tool that searches all teams and channels and chats. Now, also up here at the command bar, you can use what are called slash commands. So if I put in a slash or backslash, you're going to see all of the different commands you can use up here in the command bar. So for this example, I'm going to use the go-to command, and I'm going to go to design, and it's going to give me a shortcut straight to the design channel using the slash commands. Now, when somebody new joins the team, Megan can easily add them. A team can actually have up to 2,500 members across the organization and include external members through secure guest access. So let's say she gets a new employee and they're going to be a member of the launch team. She can click on the ellipses beside the team name and go to add members. From here, all she has to do is type in the name if they are internal, or the email address if they are external. So for example, if she wanted to add Joni, she would come here, click Joni, and click Add. Joni would immediately be notified by email that she is now a member of the X1050 launch team, and she'll be able to come in here and scroll through the conversations and pick up everything she needs to ramp up for the project start. Now, when she adds the new person, they automatically have access to everything in the channel. That includes every file. So you can see here, there's a tab for files. They will have access to every tab that is added, and we'll get into tabs and applications and bots here in a second. And she gets access to all conversations. Anything done within a channel or a team is visible to everyone. So now let's talk about chats. These are a little different. If you're familiar with Skype for Business, or even if you're not, this is your chat space. So for example, if I wanted to chat with Lynn Robbins here, I would click on Lynn's name and I would type a message. This would then start a one-on-one chat. Now, I can have a group chat by doing the same thing. I can come here and click on the next user, and up here at the top, you will see people with a plus sign. I can come in here and type in another person's name and add them, and now I've got 2 participants in this chat. You can have chats with up to 25 people at a time in group chats. So now, as you can see at the top, it's going to add me, so my group chat is going to be under my recents right here at the very top of the page. So like I said, if you've got need to talk to someone individually and don't want to put it in the channel, this is a great way to do that. Or if you just need to speak to 1 or 2 or 3 people instead of the whole team, group chats will accomplish that goal. Now let's go back into Teams and let's talk about talking within the channel itself. Inside of the channel, chats are persistent and they're stored in their entirety. So you can catch up really quickly if you go on vacation or if you need to go back up to the top and revisit decisions that were made in an earlier conversation. And this adds a lot of value when a new person comes into a team, so they can catch up really quickly, or for current team members who are looking to revisit the context of a conversation that maybe they haven't been a part of in a few days or a week. So, like I said, by default, all team conversations are visible to the entire team to keep everyone aware and share information in a really transparent way. So if I scroll up here, you will see some of these little icons. So these little red @ symbols mean that you were mentioned. So Megan can come in here and see where she was mentioned directly inside of the chat. This little bang or exclamation point right here notifies importance. So that is easily a quick way to find out this is important, I need to read this thread. And then like I said, they are threaded and they are persistent. So as you can see, this usability testing posting has 5 replies. I can click right here and I can get all the replies. So this keeps your conversations nice and neat. So everything about usability testing is all right here underneath the thread. And then, let's see, I think in here too, so if you want to, so for example, Megan can create a message to the whole team. Like she could say, congrats on today's deadline. Simple, easy chat. But if she wants to use the rich formatting inside of Teams, she can click on this little A in the pen, and this is going to give you a little more room to do some formatting. So for this demo, she wants to tell Alex that he did a really great job on the June milestone. So she's going to come up here and she's going to add a subject line, June milestone reached. And she is going to use that @ symbol that I showed you earlier to mention Alex. So by typing in the @ symbol and someone's name, you are able to directly mention them in a conversation. When you are mentioned in a conversation, it will trigger your activity feed and it will let you know you were mentioned. This is a great way to call someone's attention to something they need to see. Now, since Megan has a culture of her team is kind of casual, she wants to add a sticker to make Alex feel good about himself. So she's going to come down here. So down here we've got emojis, we've got GIFs, and we've got stickers. So we want to add a sticker. So we're going to go to the office drama category. We're going to pick this awesome little high five sticker. And now we can customize it. So she wants to say, you guys rock. Clicks done. And now she's got a message that her team rocks because they reached the June milestone, and she's calling specific attention to Alex. She then just clicks the send button, and it posts directly into the feed. So this was a great way for Megan to call attention and, increase the morale, keep everybody's spirits up, and make sure that one particular member knew that he was being recognized. So now they can focus on the substance and not being so formal. Now, channel conversations also have the ability to support direct email. So for example, let's say that Megan gets an email in her inbox, an Outlook, and it has something to do directly with legal and compliance for this launch. She can come here and come to the ellipses button and click Get Email Address. She can then copy this email address, and she can take that message from her Outlook and forward it to this email address, and it will put it into the legal and compliance channel. So everybody can see that email, and then they can have conversations about it, such as action items and what they should do next. Now, sometimes conversations and chats are great. Emails and conversations are great. But sometimes it's more efficient to just jump on a call to resolve a problem. So Teams offers the ability to support sharing and video and audio conferencing. Now this demo that I have set up does not have the audio conferencing or the calling feature enabled. So I'm going to show you what it looks like to have a quick little impromptu meeting. So if you click down here on the bottom under Meet Now, and I'm going to turn my camera off, and click Meet Now. So now in the legal and compliance team, we are having a live meeting. I probably need to invite somebody because I don't want to have a meeting by myself. So let's invite Isaiah and let's invite Alex. So they will get a little pop-up and they'll be prompted to join the meeting. Now keep in mind, this meeting is happening live in the channel. So anybody that happens to stumble across that this meeting is going on in the channel can jump into the meeting as well. It's open and free to everyone because it's happening in the channel. So Megan wanted to jump into this meeting to talk about copyright infringement. Joni had brought it up on a previous thread in the channel, so she just wanted to get Alex and Isaiah in here because they have to do with compliance, and she wants to talk about copyright infringement. So up here at the top, there are some really rich capabilities inside of these Teams meetings that Skype doesn't have currently. So when I open up the conversations bar, down here at the bottom, I can click the ellipses, and this is going to show me extensions. So here I can come in and do a Wikipedia search, and I can type in copyright infringement. And I'm going to take this article on what exactly copyright infringement is, and I'm going to post it into this meeting. And that way it is attached, it is available in the thread, and we can talk about it live. And once we've talked about it, then we're just going to go ahead and we're going to end the meeting. So now, as you see, it shows that the meeting is right here in the thread. So for everybody who could not attend, she can come in here and reply and say, please familiarize yourself with the above article for next week's legal meeting. And then that just gives everybody a little chance to go ahead and go in and read it before the next meeting. So like I said, that's how you can have a spontaneous meeting inside of Teams. But like most of us, I like scheduled meetings. So if you come here and click on the Meetings tab on the left, you can come in here and click Schedule a Meeting. As you can see over here, this is your Outlook calendar. So your Outlook calendar is already populating inside of Teams. Everything's meshing really nicely so you don't have to get in and out of applications. So here I want to put Legal Compliance Meeting. And I want to set it for next week on Tuesday from 2 to 2:30. And I'm going to put be prepared to discuss copyright infringement. And now I need to invite people. So I'm going to invite Alex again, and Isaiah, and Joni, and Brian. Now, you have to pick a channel as to where you want to have the meeting. So we want to have it in that legal and compliance area. So we want to come to the X1050 launch team and scroll down until we get to the legal and compliance channel. We can now schedule the meeting. Just as easy as that. This will put it on everyone's Outlook calendar, just like a regular meeting does. But as you can see, it's also right here in the thread, which is really great. If you're scrolling through the thread, you know there's a meeting. And like I said, all meetings, even if you aren't invited, are open to everyone in the team. Now, let's look a little further into Office integration. So over here on the left, under Files, you're going to notice that OneDrive is built in to the Teams app. So all of your individual files are all right here. And maybe you've been sitting around and you've been playing around with some things and you've got a document and now you're ready to share it. You're ready to put it on the Teams channel because you want everybody to see it. So we want to put in the European expansion PowerPoint. We want to put that into the design channel. So you can click on the ellipses and you can put in here that you want to move it. And you don't want to move it within OneDrive. You want to browse your teams and channels. And you want it to go into the X1050 launch, and you want it to go under the design. And you just click Move. And that is how easy it is to move something that you've been working on into a channel, into your team. So now if I go back to that team, like I said, I put it in the design team, and I go under the Files tab at the top, there it is. There is the European Expansion PowerPoint. Now, even more awesome is the fact that you can actually bring in documents from other locations. So for example, right here, by clicking this Add Cloud Storage button, you can bring in documents from your SharePoint site, from Dropbox, Box, ShareFile, and Google Drive. And they are looking to expand this as well. So you do not necessarily have to have this on your OneDrive in order for it to be compatible. You can use all of these other systems as well. Now, let's look a little bit more at the customization of Teams. So we're going to go back here to, like I said, the design channel. These up here across the top are tabs. So let's look at how you customize tabs. Tabs can be a little bit of anything. Tabs can be documents. So as you can see, this X1050 usability test is a document. But let's put the European Expansion PowerPoint in there. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to click on the ellipses. As you probably noticed, the ellipses do pretty much everything in Teams. And you can put that you want to make this a tab. So now that PowerPoint is a tab at the top of the design page. It has embedded that PowerPoint in here, and as you can see, I can scroll through this PowerPoint right here in the channel without having to open it, download it, or anything like that. This just makes information so much more transparent and easy to use. But let's look at some other things up here at the top. So if you click this little plus sign, you can add a tab. And as you can see, there are a ton of things you can put as a tab. So I'm just going to play around here, and I want to add a website. So I'm going to click Website, and I'm going to put Support, and I want to put the Microsoft Support site embedded into my channel. So there it is. I'm going to click Save. Now I have another tab, and this is the Microsoft Support site, and it is a live website right inside of the channel. I can click on things, and I can read things, and I can watch videos, and I can use the website live inside of the channel. This is really cool. So that's how you add tabs. But I want to show you some other ways you can use tabs and some other things you can do. So let's go here to the Go-to-Market channel. So as you can see up here, they have plugged Power BI as a tab into this Go-to-Market plan. This is going to pull up Power BI, and like I said, it's interactive directly in the channel. So I can come in here and I can look at my location analytics, my emails, website social, and campaign analytics. I can hover over these things. I can, let's say I wanted to look at all the visitors on Sundays. If I click on Sunday, it's now going to change all of my information to specifically what happened on the website on Sunday. If I want more information, I can come in here and click on the ellipses again, and I can export data. I can spotlight data. This is completely dynamic. So if I wanted to see what happened on Sundays, but I also wanted to see Sunday and anybody who visited for more than 100 minutes, maybe 114 minutes. And so you can just click in here, and all of your data is dynamic and live. So, like I said, Power BI works with this. And then also, right here under the product launch event, this is actually Microsoft Planner. So Planner is embedded in here as well. And Planner is a way to organize and keep your work on track. It has buckets where you can organize tasks for a project. So from here, Megan can add a new task. She can come in here and click the plus sign. She can say, I need to analyze the Power BI data. She can then set a due date. So let's say she needs to finish this by next Friday, and she can assign it to herself. And now she can add the task to the bucket, into the to-do bucket. Now, she's already started this, so she's going to click over here onto more options, or sorry, she's going to click on the box, And she's going to change this to in progress status. And now you can see the little status bar has changed on the to-do tasks. So, like I said, planner, one more way to keep to-do and task list intact and have it all be right within your Microsoft Teams environment. Now, as we're coming to the end, I want to take a look at the third-party apps, websites, connectors, and bots. These, to me, are the best part of Teams. So first thing I want to show you is a connector. So we're going to go into Business Development, into the General tab, General Channel. We're going to click on the ellipses, and we're going to go to Connectors. You can add a connector to any channel. I want to add a news channel, and as you can see, I've already done this. I put Bing News into the General tab of Business Development. I've already configured it. All I did was click Add, and it asked me what type of news do I want to look for. I wanted to look for business ethics news for my Business Development channel. So now, when I go into that General tab, you can see that I started following Bing News, Business Ethics. And every day at 8 a.m., it's going to deliver me a summary of all the business ethics news that Bing has found for that day. So that's just an example of one type of connector you can use. But as you can see, there's a lot of other connectors in here. I think under, I think it was under HR, no, it might be marketing, MailChimp. I know a lot of people use MailChimp, a lot of people use Constant Contact. You can plug those directly in as connectors. Now connectors, you will notice, do not pop up on the tabs. So you just kind of, it actually just embeds it into the channel. Now the next thing I want to talk about is apps. So you can also add apps in here. So let's go back to our design channel here, and let's add an app. To add an app, you have to do that from the Teams level. So I'm going to come here and click on the Team ellipses. I'm going to go to Manage Team, and I'm going to come to Apps. As you can see, there's some I've already have. I've got my Trello app in here. I've got SurveyMonkey. I've got a bot called GrowBot. This is also where you add bots. So let's go to the store really quickly. And as you can see, there are hundreds of third-party apps that you can connect to your channels. And this actually connects it to the whole team, and then you can use it in any channel in that team. So for this one, let's attach Planner, just because I don't have sign-ons for those other third-party things. And let's add it to the X1050 team. Might already be in here, actually. It's going to show you the features, and it's actually already available. We're going to put it under the General tab, and just taking it a second to load. I'm going to call it Planner. I want it to create a new plan. I'm going to hit Save. And now, right under General, we've got the Planner right here. It's going to go ahead and embed and create a brand new plan for the X1050 launch team. Right here under Welcome Board, this is where I've got my Trello app. So Trello has been linked in here as well. So those are apps. Now, there are also bots. So I just want to tell you that bots will do things for you. So for example, let's go to Design. I'm going to show you how to use GrowBot. GrowBot I happen to like. GrowBot is a way to use, like, I call it a kudos system. So I type in GrowBot, and there it is, and I want to say kudos to, and then you have to do at Alex, so you got to put his name in there, for completing the deadline. When I hit enter, GrowBot's going to do its thing. It's going to give kudos to Alex, and it puts some cute little saying in here, and it gives him his kudos. And now, if I wanted to use the GrowBot leaderboard, I just type in GrowBot, put in the leaderboard command, and now the leaderboard is going to populate, and now I can see who has kudos. So right now Isaiah's in the lead, and he has 2. So you could use this, once again, as a morale or something like that booster. Now, my next favorite tab in here, bot, is Hipmunk. So Hipmunk is a travel app, or a travel bot. So I can come in here and type in Hipmunk. Maybe I didn't put it under this one. It's under this one. I'll go ahead and install it really quick. So we go in here, we go to Manage Teams, we go to Apps, and we are going to go to the store. And you can specifically look at bots in here. I'm going to go in here and find Hipmunk, which is a travel and navigation bot. And I can come in here, and this bot can do some really cool stuff. This bot can find me plane tickets, can find me hotel rooms. So I'm going to put find flight from Charlotte to Seattle, leaving 6/23/18, returning 6/25/18. And it might take it just a minute, but it is behind the scenes doing that job for you. It is searching. See right here, ready to jet. I'm finding you flights from Charlotte to Seattle on the 23rd, coming back on the 25th. Once it has run all of its algorithms, it is going to come back and it's going to tell me all the flights available with their prices. So like I said, there's so many different bots and apps that you can use to customize teams. You can make it a truly unique experience for everyone using it. And, oh, hey, 732 flights. Look at that. I'm not leaving at 5:45 in the morning. And you can sort by the cheapest, and it's going to tell you prices and all that good stuff. So I hope that you have found this to be an informational demo. I hope you can truly see the power of Teams and what it can do and how it can keep you from having to move from app to app to app to get your job done, and that maybe you see the value in this for your organization. So like I said, I really hope that the PowerPoint and the demo really puts you in a good position to know what Teams can do, what it is capable of, and how it can help the productivity and communications of your organization. If this is something you want to see more of, or you're interested in the implementation of Teams, please reach out to us at sales@onpartech.com for further information, or call us at 919-926-9619. We'll be happy to talk to you more about this. Next, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. My marketing manager, Carrie, is going to be putting those links into the chat box right now. Follow us. See when, our tips and tricks and our other blogs about Microsoft products. Learn from press releases about any security things you should be aware of, and also promos that we are having. And number 3, please join us for our next webinar. We aren't quite sure what the topic's going to be for that yet, but as soon as we decide on it, we will be sending out emails in the next couple of weeks. So if you enjoyed this, please join us again for our next webinar.